Liverpool, 2-0 winners at Anfield over Aston Villa as they claim all 3 points at home. Goals from Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez. What does it mean at the top of the Premier League table? Well, good news for Liverpool, who now open up a 5-point lead over Manchester City, who, as you just saw, lost to Brighton. Stevie, just before we came on the air, you were saying this game did not go as you expected.
No. Well, when you look at the fixtures, you look at certain games and you think, oh, that's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. And that's what I thought this game was going to be. I thought it was going to be really tough. I knew that Villa would have a good shape, because that's the way Unai Emery has all these teams. And then they would try and break and then cause Liverpool some problems. But actually, this was about as comfortable a victory as really you could wish for. Other than that one opportunity I spoke about where Rodgers missed by quite a distance, Liverpool were always in control of this game, and it was all about getting the second goal, because he knew once the second goal was in, it was completely done. Because at 1-0, anything can happen, anything's possible. But yeah, I thought it was really straightforward, and Liverpool, no question, deserved to win. And actually, to be honest, I would question how Aston Villa went about this. I mean, we're sitting watching it in the middle of the second half, and I'm saying to Craig, did Villa realise they're getting beat? Did they realise they're 1-0 down? Because they just...
What is that, fear of Anfield? What is that?
I don't
know.
They're
not playing well at the moment. They got spanked at Spurs in the second half. They had this big victory over... They started the Champions League. They went to Young Boys, got this great win. They're not the best. Then they have this momentous night at home against Bayern Munich. They win. It's euphoric. It's the first time they're back in this competition in 30, 40 years. And the Premier League side of it's recently just gone flat. And I'm not surprised that they went to Liverpool and sat in with a good shape, because they didn't want opened up. But like Stevie, I am surprised that their lack of guile going forward, or even ability to try and push Liverpool back in the second half.
Is it personnel, or is it the way they set up? Because, I mean, they got Watkins, you got Leon Bailey, you got guys who can be
I just think they're
dangerous.
Playing... Yeah, he's having a little search at the moment, Unai Emery, for... he dropped his captain, John McGinn, Leon Bailey come in. He's a flash in the pan. Rodgers can be a handful. Good signing. Very strong on the ball, but didn't have a particularly good game. Ollie Watkins is just struggling a little bit, sometimes isolated up there on his own. And they're just trying to find their feet at the moment. And they're a step behind Liverpool. I mean, let's be honest, they are where they are. They're not, I think, 8th in the league, but they're better than 7th or 8th, but they're better than where they are. But he's just having a little struggle at the moment. And nothing sums it up better than Tyrone Mings coming into the game in midweek and picking the ball up in the Champions League. And it kind of sums where Villa are at the moment. They're going to have to figure themselves back out. But Liverpool, I would just say, when I see them, they look composed. There's nothing... They don't get too flustered. Yeah, they've given up a few chances in games, particularly the Brighton game and the Bologna game, and they had 1 or 2 scares in this, particularly from corner kicks. But they look composed. They look to play at their own tempo, and when they do want to hit that, second and third gear, they can. And so it's just been Nottingham Forest apart, particularly at home. It's just been I think a better start than most people thought.
It's been so much smoother, the transition, than anybody could have dreamed of. And obviously winning games is the best recipe for anything. But at the same time, they're kind of floating along. They're just smoothly going along. And if they continue to do that, and City and Arsenal in particular, who are behind them right now, if they continue to struggle, then, I mean, only last week we were talking about how City was still the team to beat. But in such a short space of time, I'm actually questioning Man City right now. Obviously, we're questioning Arsenal.
I mean, they are only 5 points behind. It's not a disaster.
No, but...
I mean, it's more worrying for Arsenal at the moment, particularly if they lose tomorrow. But there are worrying signs at City.
What's your worry about Liverpool? Because you said today was all about getting that second goal. It took them a while to get that. Is that maybe your concern with this team, that when games are there to be finished off against better teams than Villa, they won't?
My concern at the start really was You know, a good example is Arne Slot. A couple of weeks ago, sitting top of the league, you got Chelsea at home. Okay, Chelsea's a decent team, they're a good side, but they're getting better. But you're better than Chelsea, and you're at home. And Arne Slot has them sitting in the halfway line. That really made me question whether he was settled in what he wanted to do. But since then, he looks as though he's completely thrown that away, because whether it's been in Europe or whether it's been the Premier League, he has been going to win games. He's been trying to play on the front foot. So I've kind of gone off. I'm not sure what actually Liverpool are all about. Right now, sitting here, I'm thinking Liverpool's going to go forward and try and beat anybody that comes up against them, whether it's home or away. That's how Liverpool have won the Premier League and the old First Division. All the times that Liverpool won it, that's how they won it, by playing on the front foot. And they've got the ability and they've got the players to do that. If Liverpool don't have any horrendous injury crisis or anything like that, they've got players up front that can score goals. They've got players in the middle of the park that can control the game, that can pass the ball, who are smart, who have got plenty of experience. And if they don't get any injuries at the back with Konate and Van Dijk, then they look right now to be a team that is really solid, knows what it's about, and will continue to go and pick up points.
Where'd you have them preseason?
I had them third.
Third, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready to move it up?
Second.
I mean, of the three title contenders, I think you'd have to...
Looking around.
Primary title contenders, you'd have to say they're
in the best shape.
Absolutely.
Right? They are in the best shape by far.
Right, by quite a bit.
In terms of continuity.
When you look around, yep.
Can I sound off about a little bit about switching it here?
Who's going to stop him?
About set-piece coaches.
I mean, the Villa situation was... I don't know anything. I'm not a tactician.
Right, I'm fed up listening to a commentary now, and every time I hear a commentary now with these big Premier League games, in particular, I don't really hear it from the other leagues, but I do hear it from the Premier League. Whenever there's a corner, the set-piece coach is out on the touchline, you know, strutting around like a peacock, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, they're winding me up. Does he take responsibility when it goes balls up like this one today? I mean, it winds me up how they come out as if the camera's on them. And who's taking responsibility here? Set-piece coaches, managers, for this kind of mess. And it wasn't just once for the Darwin Núñez goal. There was one, it was either just before it or just after it, where they should have lost another one from a corner kick. We see it with Arsenal a lot, this set-piece coach. And I know they've been very successful from set-pieces, Arsenal. But you know what it's about? It's about delivering, it's about players, and it's about making decisions. And ultimately, somebody has to be responsible. And when you lose goals like this, like Aston Villa lost today, it's not the set-piece coach eventually that will get fired. And listen, Unai Emery's not getting fired. But what I'm talking about, if you're a struggling team and you're reliant on your set-piece coach, and this is happening, and I know it's only a small thing, ultimately the buck stops with the manager. I keep hearing it. Before it was Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp was the throw-in coach. I mean, the rhetoric and terminology now that baffles some of the people out there. The game has never changed. We've always worked on set pieces. We've always worked on blocking players. We just did it with a manager and a first-team coach and an assistant. But these guys came out strutting around as if they're the most important people in the world, and we witnessed an absolute shambles from Aston Villa that we witnessed in this first half.
I mean,
Rant over.
He just said it. You know, we can go out and sit and draw something up on the computer or on the paper or whatever you want to do, and then we get on the field and we get four guys to stand at the back post, or we get to stand on the edge of the box, or wherever you start them off, and then just before the ball comes in, they all run as if it's all rehearsed. But Craig started off by saying it. There's only two things that matter: delivery and attacking the ball. And if one of them fails, it doesn't matter where you start or where you finish or whatever you do. Without those two things, it doesn't work.
Let's bring it back to the title race for a second. Arsenal-Chelsea tomorrow. I believe you picked Arsenal to win it all, right?
At the start of the season, yeah.
Is it a must-win tomorrow, given what's happened here?
I think it is. I do. And it's still early in the season, and Liverpool can have a wobble, and City could or could not put a run together. But I think from Arsenal's own mindset, it's a must-win. I do. They were winning at home to Liverpool. They didn't see that one out. They weren't terrible in Milan against Inter, but were not great going forward for sure. They're off colour. They've had injuries, and this is a Chelsea side that are more dangerous than they were last year. There's now a considerable gap that it's not going to be easy to peg back. So I do. I mean, I think it's a really big day, obviously, for both clubs. But I do think if Arsenal are going to be back in this title race, they need to go into the international break with 3 points. And I don't think anything else will suffice tomorrow.
I think right now the biggest question is, where's the next goal coming from, and who's it coming from? Because they look blunt going forward, big time.
There you have it. All right, Arsenal-Chelsea on the menu for Sunday. Let's take a look at the bottom half of the Premier League table. Get you caught up on the rest of the results from Saturday. Wolves beat Southampton 2-0. West Ham and Everton played to a scoreless draw.
It was a cracker.
Brentford-Bournemouth, that was a cracker. Brentford 3-2 winners. And Fulham with an assist from Raúl Jiménez. Stevie, I know you were watching that. 2-0 winners over Crystal Palace.